Thank you for joining us on Lanes of Communication. And as you know, we are coming to a close of our communication talks. And we're going to end it with a measure framework. And Michelle and I, we talked about, some things on, what can we really, hit on? How can we end it? And we thought measure, we've done, various conversations. So, in measuring is about, measuring, the weight, the pressure, everything that's going on. So, let's end it with measure. So we're going to go through the measure framework, and I hope you have your pen and paper ready because we're going to go through this framework and drop your questions. If you have questions in the comments, so here we go. So M for measure is manage. So managing is about managing your internal communications. That's requiring management leadership, and being transparent, being accessible to your team, to everyone that's involved, and just making sure that you're not managing in a dictator type of way, but managing the process, managing the task that needs to be done, that you're with your team, you're working with your team, helping them with whatever it is that they need to move forward. The next one is E for effective. The communication strategy must be effective, meaning it meets the goals and objectives of the organization. Being effective is not just, again, just coming in with your own type of mentality or mindset, and it's not blending with the organization's mission. So we want to make sure that you are meeting those goals, and that you're being effective through those steps that you are doing, and not just jumping on and just doing whatever just comes up. We're moving on to the next. For A is attract. Internal communication must attract and engage employees by using effective messaging channels and approaches that connect with their needs and interests. Attracting and engage. This is part of, you heard us talk before about, your EVP, your employee value proposition, making sure that is employee based and not consumer based. And if you have a updated EVP in place, and if you don't have one, I really would suggest that you look into bringing in a third party to help you put together EVP. Having that in place, that's what's going to also help you to attract the right candidates, to make sure that you have the people in place to do the things that needs to be done, that understands your mission, know what your goals are, know those things that they need to do, and know how you want to accomplish those goals. And if they are coming in with any type of helpful information, tips, tools that you may not be aware of, or just maybe not using them effectively, you know, taking the time to really listen to them and hear their point of view, and seeing how it can manage and make your organization run smoothly, and not waste a lot of time or wasting energy with candidates that's either the not right candidate, or they just simply don't understand the initiative and how to move forward without hand holding. And that's what you don't want to do, is have someone in place where you have to hold their hand. That's just not, it doesn't make sense. S is secure. To build trust and maintain a strong company culture, the internal communication strategy must provide secure channels for employees to communicate with each other and with leadership. Building trust is should be at the very, very top of the list. It doesn't matter if you are in the C-suite, you're, managers, leadership, whatever role it is, you want to make sure that you have trust. And that trust comes with being open, listening, and not just, talking and not hearing what your employees have to say, and not, giving them the benefit of the doubt. So once you're able to sit and listen to what your employees have to say, and be open to their suggestions, be willing to talk about those, and after that, you will start to be able to build trust with those employees. So making sure that you're secure that and that you're building trust with your employees, and then that's how you're going to be able to keep them long term as well. So keep that in mind. U is for utilizing systems, processes, and software. Internal communication strategies should leverage tools and technologies that make communication more effective, efficient, effective, and secure. When you have your systems and processes in place, throw the status quo out the door, right? A lot of times it's, oh, we've had it here, it's always work. We don't need to, do anything. We have a smooth, running motion, in this organization. And a lot of times that's really not true. And the reason for that is that we are in a different age and time. We have so many um, online tools that can be used in these organizations. And some of the software you have are so outdated that you're still doing double, sometimes triple work, because these systems do not have the features that you need for your current, daily operation. So do away with your older systems. Or if you do have an older system, take the time to look at it and see, okay, are we using all the features? Are we utilizing everything that we have within this program? If you have that, then those are the things that you need to, really invest in, and make sure that your team is aware of. And you might have somebody already on your team that understands these systems, and then now you don't have to go outside to hire anyone to train your team and make sure that, certain things are in place. Utilize the candidates that you have, and that's building trust with them, because now you're trusting me to come in, train the organization, and know that I'm going to do it with your mission in mind and your goals. So making sure that you have those things in place, with those systems, processes, and software. We're moving on to the R, which is retain. Effective internal communication is essential for employee retention, as it builds trust, fosters engagement, and helps employees feel connected to the organization's mission and values. Attracting and retaining your candidates. They kind of go hand in hand. We talked about that a little bit earlier. And to retain them, we circle back of making sure that you have trust with them. You have the right systems in place, that your EVP is in place so they understand what your goals are, what is your vision, what do I have to look forward to when I am hired on with this organization, and not just looking at a job description and going to your website and reading your mission statement, which is written for the consumer, not the employee. So they're looking at something that's meant for your customers, and that goal is different from what you're expecting your employees to move forward with. And we're all the way down to the very last E, which is establish. The internal communication strategy must establish clear best practices and processes for effective communication. This includes documenting policies, procedures, and guidelines for communication, as well as providing training and support for employees to effectively communicate with each other, customers, stakeholders, and leadership. Establishing that connection. You need trust to make sure you're establishing that connection. You want to make sure that you're attracting the right candidates to establish that right connection. You want to make sure that you have the right systems and processes in place to establish that right connection. And the reason that you want to do that, and all of these tie in to this very last E of establishing, is having that right candidate in place will make a huge difference in the results and the productivity that is happening within an organization. So we quickly went through though each one of those letters in measure for the measure framework. And take any of these and make sure that you're implementing them into your daily operations. And it doesn't matter if you are a Fortune 500 company or if you are a small business. Each one of these, holds strong in any type of organization, because this is what's going to make you have a solid foundation and be able to withstand, things that may happen, because you're building this and it's going to be solid. So I hope that was helpful to you. Michelle, you have anything that you want to add?
But of course, welcome everybody. So if you're trying to figure out, measure, and really, Melissa really dug into what each one of the letters meant. So the power of measure using this framework is really about transforming your company's internal communication strategy, right? But when you look at communication, if you have, let's say, a toddler and they're learning to talk, they're learning words, but you find out that you have to use hand gestures and whole stuff and point at things to communicate with them. It seems okay after a while, right? With the first kid. The second kid, not so much. By the third, when you like, just help your brother or your sister. I'm over it, right? And so you have to think about how having clear and concise communication really helps your organization, because it's helping your employees, who in turn are helping internal and external customers. So when you think about each part of measure, it is not to be like, oh my God, I have something else to do. But the overall framework is to improve how you communicate internal to your organization, like who's really in charge of managing effective internal communication. Everybody, oh, the communications team. I'm like, okay, so the communications team communicates with the engineering team, the IT team, as to what they should be doing. Well, no, oh my God, they would never do that. Exactly. So internal communication comes down to individuals, right? At one to one sometimes, as well as from their direct managers and supervisors and so forth. So a cascading effect. But you need to still have, guess what? Processes and systems already established. So that's the second E. I jumped ahead. But they must be effective. And so as you're thinking about, well, we just sent everybody an email. You have people on a shop floor, a manufacturing floor. How often are they checking their emails? Right? That may not be. And so we've gone through some of these in previous talks in January and February. So I really want you to think about overall how it really looks. And many organizations are really confused about the A in measure around attract, right, Melissa? They,
Yeah, yeah,
they
definitely they are.
yeah,
I think
go
when
ahead.
they look at that and they think attract, I think we go back to the status quo of, you know what, just write the job description. We'll put what we need, what we require, what are some options, and what they are expected to do daily. And it goes a little bit deeper than just the job description. This is, again, we go back to the employee value proposition of having that in place, making sure that leadership management understand what is in that and that they're abiding by it as well. So attracting the right candidate goes a lot deeper than just putting a job description out there. They have the skills, qualifications. We're going to bring them in. We're going to train them, and then we are expecting them to do X, Y, Z, to get the job done. So it it definitely goes deeper than just saying this is how we're going to attract the candidates. So yeah, you're definitely right about that, Michelle.
And I highly encourage employers to look at communications not just as written, but
Hmm.
also audible video. That people are short form video, so TikTok or a GIF method or a GIF, however you want to say it. and really understanding how people now at this particular time are learning and engaging. And so it may not be a paper memo anymore or an email memo. It literally could be something like a text on mobile devices. So think more broadly as to how you can communicate quickly, effectively with your teams. Because guess what also happens? When we look at employees, let's say you live in a state that is hurricane prone. Everybody has like their different weather types. Being able to effectively communicate like, hey, we're shutting down for the day due to the weather conditions or impending weather. Go, stay home, be safe. Here's the emergency numbers and different things that you can send very quickly to your people. Guess what? Employees appreciate that because they have family that they're trying to figure out what they're going to do with, you know, aging parents, young children, pets. It is really important to be able, especially in emergencies or about their pay, to quickly and effectively communicate. And guess what? People talk about that. It's like, oh, well, why? How did you not end up in the line at the bus stop turning around with the kid? Oh yeah, my job texts me, so I knew I didn't have to go. So I never even took the kids. I just let them
Yeah.
sleep in it so I could get the house ready, right? And so you be very surprised how people like, where do you work again? I wish my job, y'all, you're hiring,
Mhm.
you're hiring.
Yep.
And so literally, you do not understand how these conversations outside of the job workplace really help impact and attract people to how you manage communication within an organization. Because people always complain all day, like, yeah, that's why I quit working there. I went to such and such. They do a way better job. And they were like, real, it really does because your employees are sharing their employee experience. And it definitely comes down to communication. Whew. So any other thoughts around measure? Because I have plenty. Because I'll keep going if you don't.
No, nope, go for it. Nope. I mean, we're
Oh,
within a certain time, and I was like, we're gonna get this out and hope that it resonates with people.
exactly.
And measure, and I mean, even though we broke this out into a framework, this is a conversation that can be discussed for hours, days on end, and just even if we were to take one letter per day, that's still, plenty of conversation because there's so many things that organizations still um is not doing. And I'm pretty sure do not have it nowhere in their goals or their, projects to try to make that shift. And
Exactly.
that's unfortunate, but it's just the way so many organizations are continuing to run. I just say they haven't learned their lesson.
Well, I want them to do better, especially around accessibility.
Yeah.
And what we're finding, as they call it, the war on talent, organizations now opening up to really have people that are disabled come to work for them, and it may be remotely, but they're also finding out that their special equipment, their website is not set up for visually impaired. And
Hmm.
so what we really need you to do is also make sure you're checking for accessibility when you're improving your communication, because
Yeah.
that's the only way you're really going to be inclusive. And some people like, well, and I'm saying this because oftentimes what I see, people are putting in place practices and processes that they come to regret later, because you can hear now that you're 45, 50, but you don't know where you're going to be at 60, and you end up retiring a few years early than you chose to because your hearing declined. And guess what? When that was brought up early, a decade earlier, oh, we don't need any of that. Everybody here can hear just fine. You never know what's going to happen in your personal life, but more importantly, give other people the opportunity
Hmm.
to work there by making it more inclusive and making it accessible. And so having things in place. And if you aren't sure what that looks like for your software, your computer screens, your telephone line, ask people, have a consultant come in and really review that and to better understand your current system and processes, how
Mhm.
you communicate, and be a part of the improvement in your communication. It is so much that we often miss about accessibility if we don't have to work with people or have people in our immediate family or circle that are disabled. So I do want to say that utilizing your systems, processes, and software, what we often find is organizations, and we even do this on an individual level, most of us don't even fully utilize the capabilities of our smart devices. We're
Yep.
texting, we're
Yes.
doing a few apps, we might do the calendar, we're going to listen to music. Some people do their health and fitness stuff, but they don't know all the other things they could be doing. Sometimes some people are doing audio files on there, taking notes, writing books, and really leveraging on another, using it as a hotspot. I do that. I'm doing it right now. And so
Yep.
really
Yeah.
leverage the more functionality, right? And so oftentimes like, oh, we're gonna have to go buy something else. Well, look at your SAP, your Oracle, and some other, especially those larger software. Sometimes it's something you're already paying for, but you
Mhm.
aren't utilizing. So you have to go back to that company that you're paying annually for that service to see, hey, we want to know if this feature is available and we aren't using it, or this is what we're trying to do. Does your software have that capability? And so it's really important to understand that, and then you can change your processes, sometimes tied back, that that come
Mhm.
into play with that software, so you're better able to communicate. Because you may think we're going to have to do a whole new text system. You probably have it, especially if you're larger, it's probably tied into some existing software or service that you're already paying for, and it's probably not going to cost you that much.
Yeah.
You just don't have it set up and know how to integrate it into your communications plans and
Mhm.
processes.
Yeah.
Whew.
No, you're right. I mean, it's a lot of, I mean, our cell phones is a mini computer. If you really, it's a mini computer. It's what it is. But for me, there's some things I just choose not to do on my phone, even though I can, like, no, I do it on my laptop. But yeah, it's a mini computer. You could do, pretty much any and everything that you can. And I use my hotspot. I don't like, nobody else's free Wi-Fi. I don't
Exactly.
care if they say, "Oh, it's for." I got a hotspot. I'm good. I use my own.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, yeah,
Whew.
I definitely do that. So, I think that will put a nice bow on the measure framework and our lanes of communication.
I love it. I love it. So, any parting words? I can't believe this 4-part series on internal communications is over. Any parting words?
Um, is that don't get so stuck in your ways that you're not willing to change. And I'm not saying you got to change every single thing, but I think the very first step that won't cost you anything is communicating. That's simply talking with people, that is being willing to listen, um, share ideas, give feedback. So I think that will be the very first place that you can start, and it doesn't cost you one penny. So take that in consideration. That to start there, and then from there you just start building on top of communicating.
I love it. I love it. So everybody, if you're trying to find the other talks that we've done, you can go over to the Positive Hire Business page. They are definitely over there. And or you can just DM either one of us, and we'll definitely send the replay links over to you. But check them out, because we're gonna have them in our company libraries as well, not just here on LinkedIn, so, or Facebook or YouTube, wherever you're tuning in from. But thank you so much, Melissa, for doing this with me. I really appreciate it. Everybody else, I will be back, because guess what we're kicking off next? I'm kicking off next. Women's History Month. I have some more nerdy ladies like me. We're gonna be doing it up. Right now, plan for at least 6, 4, 6, 8. I'll be doing 8 live streams here in the month of March. That
Wow.
that seems like a live. I used to live stream daily, at least
Yeah.
once a day. So imagine just doing, I don't know, 28 a month, not 20, yeah, about 28 a month to 8. So it's not that bad for me, but I will be seeing y'all a little bit more now that the virtual summit is over. Melissa, thank you so much. Everybody have a great week. And I will be back here Thursday morning. Come join us. We're going to tell you what's going on in the Positive Hire community for the month of March as well as 2023. Bye, everybody.
Bye.